Hello, everyone, and thank you, Denise. And thank you to all of the athletic department, not only for the opportunity to speak today, but also for the way you've worked for the success of every single one of us. Thank you, coaches, for your belief in us and for pushing us to be better. Thank you, trainers and medical staff, for keeping us in one piece. Thank you, Little G staff, for keeping us fed. Thank you, compliance and academic services, for keeping us eligible. And thank you to everyone else working behind the scenes. And of course, on a personal note, I want to thank my family for your never-ending love and support that has allowed me to stand here today. Thank you for making me a better version of myself. And thank you to all the student athletes in this room. You are my teammates, friends, and the people that make it a little bit easier to wake up at odd hours of the morning to go to practice. We are held together by so many experiences that we'll carry with us for a lifetime. We know what it's like to represent an amazing legacy, what it's like to welcome others into that legacy, and what it's like to compete in our final competition for USC. And that's something I've thought a lot about over the last few years, the idea of swimming that final race. As a freshman, it felt like a distant concept, something that I wouldn't have to face for a long time. But as we all know, that long time went by really quick. Each year, I watched the seniors face their final race, each in their own way. My freshman year, one senior was so excited to be done that she cut off her swimsuit with scissors in the locker room after finishing her final race. My sophomore year, one of our teammates had to go to the ER during conference and missed what was supposed to be her final swim. When we got back to LA, we blindfolded her and drove her to the pool where we recreated a mock conference meet so she could race one last time. My junior year, I had the privilege of watching my closest friend and training partner finish her USC career with her first NCAA A final. And my senior year, one of our fifth years swam the mile for her final event. The swimmer in the lane next to her stopped because of a medical emergency, and in the confusion, my teammate accidentally swam an extra 50 yards at the end of her final mile. Through all those moments, I built up this idea that my final race had to be larger than life. I dreamed of going out with a national title or breaking a record. It had to be big. It had to be perfect. But this final year wasn't easy. I faced injury after injury, and by the time NCAA championships rolled around, just qualifying felt like a victory. I swam the prelims of the 200 breaststroke without a doubt in my mind that I would at least make a B final. I poured everything into that race, but it wasn't quite enough to get a second swim. Without even knowing it, I had swum my final race. No championship title, no record, just an okay time that didn't make finals. And yet, I didn't feel disappointed. Because when I look back, that final race wasn't nearly as important as everything that it took to get me to that starting block. I saw a national title, I saw records, I saw being captain for our team's first ever undefeated season. And much more importantly than that, I saw friendships that I'll carry with me for a lifetime, the lessons that have shaped me, and the privilege of being part of something bigger than myself. And that's the legacy we leave behind. Not the times we post or the trophies we win, but the way we're pulled together by something bigger, something invisible but deeply felt. This reminds me of something I learned in one of my classes. Some of you may have heard of the three-body problem, especially now that it's a Netflix show. But in physics, the three bodies are celestial masses, and the problem is that it's nearly impossible to calculate their movements as they're pulled by each other's gravity. But there's one fascinating solution. If two of the bodies are much more massive than the third, there are stable points where the gravitational forces balance out. These points draw asteroids into orbit around empty space and are held in place by invisible forces. It just so happens that the asteroids held in place by the Sun and Jupiter are called the Trojan asteroids. I think this is a beautiful metaphor for the Trojan family. These Trojan asteroids are millions of miles apart from each other, but they are still held together by invisible binding forces. We will go many places in our lives, but we will always be bound by our experiences here. As we walk out these doors today, we do not walk out as individuals, but as one Trojan family. We are united by the shared experience of stepping onto the field, court, track, green, shell, sand, pool, platform, or block, wearing Cardinal and Gold. For the first time, the last time, and most importantly, everything in between. No matter where life takes us, no matter how far we go, we will always be connected by the lessons we've learned, the challenges we've overcome, and the Trojan spirit we carry with us forever. Fight on.